SYRM. I hope means most of the participants are aware with this name, synchronous reluctance motor drive. Okay, so this is a simple machine, and it does not have any kind of magnet material, or we can say magnets on the rotor side, and there is no windings. Okay, so based on reluctance, we are going to produce the torque. Okay, but due to reluctance, the limitation of this machine has poor power factor. But still, researchers are increasing the power factor by putting some extra magnet on the rotor barriers, so that we can improve the torque density as well as we can improve the power factor of the machine. But as this machine does not have any kind of windings in the magnet or the rotor side, so there is huge reduction in the rotor losses, we can say, and there is improvement in the efficiency. So, therefore, as compared to induction machine, this motor is quite popular. Okay, and in this talk, I have two sections basically, or I have two parts of this talk. First, I'll talk about synchronous reluctance based EVs, electric vehicles, application of this motor, and how we can accelerate this motor and deaccelerate, then how we can operate this particular motor in cruising mode, means steady state mode. Okay, how the we can power this EVs using batteries and all the things. Other part of this talk basically belongs to charging station. So as we have many electric vehicle, and all they are operating with the batteries, some kind of storage they need. So how we will power these storage? We need some charging station. Simply like all the vehicles, petrol or diesel based electric based vehicles. So they need some fuels to, we need some fuels to run these vehicles. So we have to go to the petrol pump so that we can get the petrol and we can run our vehicle. So in similar fashion, if we have electric vehicles and we want to charge I'm traveling from from one place to another place, and in between I need to charge this vehicle. So I need a charging station. Okay, means because at one place I may have my home, so I can charge my vehicle to home, but other place I don't have home, so I need to find out some charging station so that I can charge my vehicle, and then I can complete my journey. So it is a very essential thing. Apart from the development of electric vehicle, it is very essential thing to development of charging station. Okay, people are developing with the renewable energy sources based charging station. They are also integrating these charging station with the grid also. So grid to vehicle, and means we can say basically we have battery bank at the charging station, and we are charging this battery using grid and using renewable energy source. So we can say at that particular moment here we are using a PV based renewable energy source to charge these battery banks. Okay, and when EVs are not there, means in 24-hour period, in some periods we don't have EV load. So at that particular moment, if our batteries or EV, the battery bank is fully charged, that same time we can utilize this battery power to fulfill our load demand. Okay, we have nearby home loads or a household load, they require the power that particular moment. If grid outage is there, or it means there is peak load demand, so this EV battery or battery bank can support the grid also. So this is the second part of the talk. So first I'll start with my this particular lecture, why we require electric vehicles. Okay, so we have nowadays we are having IC engine based these electric vehicle. But if we are going for the electric vehicle, so there is no emission. Everyone is aware about this. Cheaper to run and wide range of speed. So we can even control this particular machine from 200 RPM to 1500 RPM or 3000 RPM. If we are having 1500 RPM machine or 3000 RPM machine. So it is quite, means we can control this machine without decreasing the efficiency. Remember, if you are operating with induction machine, you are going to operate, if you are operating at a rated speed and suddenly the speed of the machine is reduced to 200 RPM, there is decrease in efficiency also. But if we see in this particular machine, there is no rotor windings, there is no current which is flowing through the rotor windings. So efficiency for 200 RPM when we are operating this machine at 200 RPM and when we are operating at rated speed. So there is no decrease or decrement in the efficiency. This machine is less noisy. So this particular machine means they are very quite in operation. And lower maintenance cost, so and safer. So this particular machine having low center of gravity, so lower risk of rollovers. Now, if you see the other side, if you want to integrate our charging station with the grid or with the renewable energy sources, so what are the benefit? So this particular machine, SYRM, is well suited for hybrid electric vehicle. So as I told you, this machine is very popular when we are operating at low speed. In urban areas, some time you have to operate at 200 RPM, and suddenly if there is no traffic, then you have to increase the speed. So in urban area or cities, we are going for wide, we are operating this machine in our vehicle in wide range of speed. So to maintain the efficiency is very important. And among the various topologies, these motor drives, they are having good performance in terms of high torque, power density. I'll talk about how we can increase the torque density as well as how we can improve the power factor of this particular machine. Now, if we see the charging station where our battery bank is located, so at that particular moment, we have to charge these vehicles. So we need EV charger, which enable to operate automatically using a PV array. So here we will use a renewable energy source to integrate this battery charger, and will provide this uninterrupted charging, and will also provide power to the household load. Means we'll see the topology, how we can proceed with particular household load grid along with renewable energy source with this charger. And apart from this, EV charger is supported with synchronization and desynchronization mode. So whenever sometimes the grid is there, grid is not there, and then we have to operate in, if grid is there, then we can operate in vehicle to grid or grid to vehicle mode. If grid is not there, then we can operate grid to home. Means, if grid is not there, then we can operate vehicle to home. Okay, vehicle battery is there, and we can discharge the battery to supply the local loads. If state of charge of the battery is maintained. Okay, if a state of charge of the battery is not maintained, we cannot provide the power to the, or this EV is there, any electric vehicle is there, and we want to charge this electric vehicle, then we cannot supply the power to the local loads or home loads, because our priority is to charge the electric vehicle. So other feature of this particular talk, like if you consider this kind of topology where we have grid to vehicle, vehicle to grid, synchronization, desynchronization, then the utilization factor of voltage source converter, which we are using to interface this battery with the grid, it decreases the payback period of power converters. So we can utilize this VSC in such a way so that we can operate 24 hours. Even though at outage of PV array, outage of grid, we can continuously operate this voltage source converter. So payback period of this power converter is reduced. So these things we'll talk about. So this is the basic introduction. Then this EV charger or charging station is enabled with the vehicle to grid. And so we can, if there is any reactive power demand by the non-linear loads or power quality issues, then this charger or this particular VSC can supply the reactive power also. So it can support the reactive power demand which is required by the load, so that the reactive power drawn from the utility grid or will not supply any reactive power to the grid, so that we can operate at unity power factor basically. Okay, and vehicle to home, as I discussed, is also possible using this particular configuration. Benefit by proposed charging stations. So there is reduction in the distribution losses. Bidirectional power flow capability. So we can operate vehicle to grid mode and grid to vehicle. Both the mode are possible. We can import or export power from the or to the grid. There is no need of bulky magnetic transformers. So recently we are in this particular to control the charging and discharging of this battery bank, we are using bidirectional converter. Okay, here there is no need of any kind of what we can say bulky magnetic transformer to boost the battery voltage equal to the DC link voltage. Okay. Also, toward the grid side, to improve the reliability, we are using a static transfer switches. So we will also use these devices to on and off the grid so that we can operate in vehicle to home and vehicle to grid mode. And other feature like we are also maintaining the unity power factor toward the when we are drawing or we are going to supply power to the utility grid using these EV chargers. So why synchronous this SYRM? So as I told, there is no magnet, no squirrel cage rotor side, and there is no copper losses in the rotors. So this is the big advantage of this particular machine. As we are going to load the machine, so the loading, or we can say when we are going to load this machine at rated load, so the current flow will basically give the rotor losses, I square R losses. So if there is no any kind of current at the rotor side, I square R losses are, means I square R losses at the rotor side are 0. So this is the big advantage of this particular machine. It has high efficiency, compact in size, no concern with demagnetization. There is no any kind of magnet which is put in the rotor side, so there is no concern about the demagnetization. Less maintenance is required, and the main advantage of this SYRM, absence of rotor cage losses, as I told. So there is no any kind of permanent magnet material or no rotor winding at the rotor side. Now, if we compare this synchronous reluctance machine with induction motor, so if you have same rating machine, same HP machine, if you compare 5 HP machine, so it has smaller in size. Okay. And if we are having this permanent magnets, if you want to increase the efficiency, like further, if you want to, once you have manufactured the machine and further you want to improve the efficiency of the machine, so what you will do, we have flux variers at the rotor side in the SYRM. If you want to increase the power, or we can say torque density, then we can put the magnets. Basically in this SYRM machine, the torque density depend on the difference in LD and LQ. There are two kinds of inductance, direct axis inductance and quadrature axis inductance. So the difference between these inductances will give the torque. If the difference like LD, the value of LD is higher, then you may get the higher torque. Okay. So if you want to further increase the efficiency of the machine, the LD we have to make higher as compared to, means ratio must be higher at a particular value. So if you see the construction of this SYRM, so the stator may be distributed or concentrated winding, and we all know it consists of frame or core with a winding. But toward the rotor side, how we will get the torque? So here in third figure, you can see the magnetic field lines or the flux barrier, how the flux in a particular rotor is developed. So amplitude of torque, if you see the torque amplitude, the torque developed by this particular rotors is directly proportional to the difference in between LD and LQ, as I told. So if we have greater difference, the greater the torque. So we have to somehow make the LD value greater or higher. So torque is produced when rotor attempts to establish its most magnetic in order to minimize the reluctance. Once so rotor will be settled to the minimum reluctance path to get the maximum torque. Now we can see the rotor structure of SYRM. We have three figures here. So if we see the conventional synchronous machine, okay, you may have seen this synchronous machine for hydro application or some other application. So this particular machine is a salient machine, and we are having this ratio of LD-LQ around 2 to 2.5. And if the LD-LQ is, the ratio of this is 2 to 2.5, then this machine is categorized as a synchronous machine with saliency. Okay. However, if the LD-LQ ratio in between 3 to 8, or somehow if it is possible to get the LD-LQ ratio around 8 to 10, then SYRM is fully competitive with the induction machine. We will have higher efficiency as compared to induction machine. We will have good power factor of this machine as compared to induction machine. Okay. So somehow when we are going to manufacture this machine, we have to take care of this ratio of LDLQ. Okay. We can put these flux barrier or material in such a way so that the ratio of these LDLQ must be higher than the 8. So that this machine will be will have the higher efficiency, good power factor, as well as good torque density as compared to induction machine. Okay. Now, further, if you want to improve this torque density, then how we can improve the torque density? We can put, so basically what we are doing, if we are putting the magnetic material or some permanent magnet in these slots, or we can say in flux barriers. Okay. So if you are putting this flux barriers, or we can say we can put the flux barriers in direct axis. So the net inductance LD will improve and the torque density of this particular machine will improve. So people are also, or researchers are also looking for this magnetic assisted SYRM. They are not purely making this rotor as a magnet. They are not using permanent magnet, but a small piece of material they are putting in the flux barrier so that the ratio of this is improved, or we can say difference between LD and LQ improves. The torque density as well as efficiency and everything is improved as compared to conventional SYRM. Okay, so what are the key to success? As I told, we don't have I square R losses in the rotor side, so this machine is fully competitive as compared to induction machine. Now, efficiency comparison of SYRM induction machine. So at very low power factor, or at very low power. So here you can see at very low power, the efficiency of synchronous machine is higher as compared to induction machine. Induction machine have has less efficiency when we are operating this machine at low power. Okay, so if you are operating 200 RPM or 300 RPM, the synchronous machine have higher efficiency as compared to induction machine. These are the some comparison of induction machine, permanent magnet brushless DC machine, then SRM and SYRM. Okay, if we see the mechanical structure, stator is same for all the machines, but this rotor is different. Okay, maintenance, low maintenance is required. Efficiency, higher efficiency as compared to these machines. Control requirement. So for every, apart from induction machine, if you are operating this induction machine at constant speed, okay, so we can use auto transformer starting or some star delta starting, and but if you are operating at fixed speed, then we need not any controller, okay, for induction machine. But if you want to operate for variable speed, so we need some kind of controller, or we can say we need some V/F control or vector control to control this induction motor. So we require voltage source converter also, okay, to control the speed of induction machine. And but in these machines, if we see PMBLDC, SRM or SYRM, even though if you are operating this machine for a constant speed, if you are operating these machine for a constant speed, we need some kind of controller. We cannot run these machine without controller. All kind of special machines, we need some kind of controller, some kind of feedback from the rotor, so that we can sense the rotor position, and then we can give the input to this particular controller, and the controller will give the switching pulses for the particular converter, so that we can operate this machine. Okay, without controller we cannot run these machines, these special machines, PMSM, SRM or SYRM. System cost. So the induction machine obviously have low cost, but the cost of nowadays, because the cost depend means use of things. If you are manufacturing large number of machine, then the cost automatically will be go down. So this SYRM is coming nowadays. It is coming to the picture. So the cost nowadays, it is medium. As it will accelerate or it will get the popularity, the cost will obviously goes down. Now, development of electric vehicle. So we have this battery bank. The main motive, how we can charge this particular battery. Then we have this bidirectional converter, and then we have inverter, this particular 3-leg converter we can see here. Then we have this SYRM machine. So the main motive, how we can charge this battery bank. So this is the charging station, we are assuming that, and some kind of controller is there, and we are feeding this power using this battery to this vehicle. So acceleration of this SYRM and deacceleration of SYRM, then the continuous operation, or we can say steady state operation, we will see how we can use charge and discharge of the battery by running this particular machine. And if we see the control of SYRM, so here we are sensing, we are getting the position from the rotor sensors, and we are evaluating the reference speed, sensed speed. And we are comparing this sensed speed with the reference speed given to the PI controller to generate the torque reference. And here you can see the left side, we have 3 equations, torque equation, then ID and IQ equation. So if you want to generate this IQ reference, so we need torque reference, okay, torque reference and then ID reference. And this ID reference is generated with the torque reference, okay, number of poles, and then the inductances value of these this particular machine, LD, LQ, then torque reference, then we'll get the ID reference. And after getting these ID and IQ references, we are converting these ID and IQ into reference currents, DQ to ABC we are putting here, and then we are comparing these reference currents with the winding current of the machine, okay. And after comparing, we are applying the hysteresis controller, and we are generating the switching pulses for this 3-phase VSI, which is feeding to the this synchronous reluctance machine, okay. So generated reference IQ depends on the reference ID as well as reference torque, and these ID IQ are also used for generating the switching sequences for voltage source converter. So simple control we are using here, okay. Simple, we are deriving this IQ reference and ID reference with the help of torque reference and this speed, okay. So in as I told, in the special machines, we required always these feedback of this particular machine, okay. What are the rotor position of this particular machine? It always required. So we need some kind of Hall sensors to sense the position, of exact position of this rotor, and using this theta r, we are able to derive this speed, sensed speed. So performance of SYRM based EVs. So if we see the acceleration mode, so acceleration mode means at 0.5 second in results at the right side, we can see here at 0.5 second, we are going to start the machine, okay. And the rated speed of the machine is around 3000 RPM. As it is, the speed of the machine is increasing. Here you can see the battery condition. So battery is going to discharge, or the battery will supply power to the SYRM, and means it is accelerated at 0.1 second. Okay, so at that particular moment, we have this IQ, the winding currents. So winding currents are maintained sinusoidal, and this battery voltage is little bit decreased. Okay, as we are drawing power from the battery, SOC is decreased, and we have discharging current. Means battery current positive means we are discharging the battery, and after 1 second it is reaching to steady state value. Okay, so net current, net winding current is around 22 ampere peak. Okay, now if the vehicle is running at cruising mode, means if we are operating this machine as a steady state operation, so it is drawing only a peak current of 10 ampere. Winding currents of this machine is around 10 ampere peak to peak. Okay, and in this particular condition, battery voltage is stable, and battery current, battery is discharging still, because in cruising mode or steady state mode, we need constant power. So battery is discharging, and battery, it is drawing around 3 ampere current from the battery, and SOC of the battery is little bit decreased, as we need constant power from the battery. Now deceleration mode. So in this particular mode, at 1.5 second, the speed of the machine is going to decrease. Okay, so at that particular moment, the torque is also means the reference torque is constant, however, load torque is negative. So in this particular moment, the same machine will work as in generating mode, and instead of taking power from the battery, it will supply power to the battery. Okay, so here you can means deceleration mode means we are applying brake at the EV. So at that particular moment, battery is it means battery current is means we are injecting current to the battery. So battery current is negative here. You can see in this particular figure. Okay, and the SOC of the battery is increasing. Okay, here you can see we are increasing the means SOC of the battery is increased means battery is charging. So this was the introduction about the SYRM based electric vehicle and how we can use this particular motor for EVs and what are the advantage of these machines as compared to induction motor and other machines. Now the very important task, like as I told in this particular figure, how we can charge this battery, it is very important. Okay, and how we can supply the power to this battery bank, that is very important. If we are having electric vehicle and it is containing the battery, and how we can charge that battery using a charging station. So we will see how we can interact this battery with the grid as well as with the renewable energy. So what are the functioning in this particular figure? The vehicle to grid, here we can see the two figures. So one is petrol pump kind of figure. In petrol pump, we are having this pillar for supplying the petrol or fuel to the vehicle. So here we are also having one kind of smart charging stations, and we have wire and we can connect our vehicle through this particular pillar. And another side, we can say wall mounted charger. So we have this kind of charger, and behind this charger, we have a bigger battery bank. And using this charger, we can connect our vehicle through this particular wire and we can charge our vehicles. Okay. And what are the other functioning of this particular charging station? Vehicle to grid mode is possible. Vehicle to load mode is possible. We can also use vehicle to vehicle mode and then vehicle to home mode is also possible. So if we see the classification of solar PV powered based charging, smart charging station. So what are the classification? If we see PV array and battery energy storage based charging station. So it is categorized in single phase and three phase, depending on the availability. Like if we are having single phase supply, then we can use a single phase smart charging station. If we are having three phase supply, then we can use a three phase charging station. But here the DC side, the things will be same. Means because DC side we are having this PV array and battery energy storage, so they will require DC supply. But AC side, if we are having AC grid, then we require three phase converter. If we are having single phase supply, then we require only edge bridge to integrate this charger or this charging station with the utility grid. Further, single phase is divided into single stage and two stage. Okay, so this is quite similar to the solar PV system. Okay, we are having this single stage and two stage, which means toward the PV array side, we are using boost converter for MPPT purpose, because this PV array we have to utilize at its maximum capability. Okay. We cannot say that we are using a 5 kilowatt and we are utilizing only 3 kilowatt of power. Okay, if you are installing 5 kilowatt of PV array, then we have to utilize at its maximum rating. So we need some kind of MPPT controller, maximum power point tracking controller, to extract the maximum power from the PV array. And for this purpose, people are using DC-DC converters, boost converter or buck converter or buck boost converter. Here for two-stage system, we are using only this boost converter for means extracting the maximum power. And we are also using single stage. So in case of single stage, we are not using any kind of boost DC-DC converter, and the directly PV array is means tied with the DC link capacitor of voltage source converter. Okay, so if you don't have bidirectional converter along with battery storage, this VSC will inject the power to the utility grid and also control the maximum power from the PV array. But here the control is shifted toward the battery side in case of single stage only. So bidirectional converter maintain the DC link voltage as well as it will do the function of MPPT. Okay, so here remember the control is shifted to the bidirectional converter in case of charging station or when we are having this battery storage along with bidirectional converter. Okay, so we can use this particular single stage system EV battery without control or EV battery with bidirectional converter. Okay, manually we can control this by switching on and off, or we can use a bidirectional converter for autonomous operation. Okay, in two stages, EV battery without control, EV battery with bidirectional control. If we see the three-phase configuration, three-phase charging station. So three-phase charging station is also categorized in two parts: three-phase three-wire charging station and three-phase four-wire charging station. Three-phase three-wire charging station similarly are categorized in two parts: single stage and two stage, similarly to single phase. Further, three-phase four-wire is also categorized. If we are having mixed kind of home load, like somewhere you are using three-phase induction machine for some other application and single-phase induction machine for some other application. So you have mixed load. So at that particular moment, you cannot feed these machines only using three-phase three-wire. You require three-phase four-wire kind of configuration, or means this kind of three-phase four-wire VSC to feed power to these loads where we have single phase as well as three phase, because there will be unbalanced load at the point of common coupling PCC, where this VSC voltage source converter grid as well as load are connected. So at that particular moment, there will be huge neutral current which is flowing from the grid to load. So at that particular moment, this converter itself will supply some neutral current which is equal in magnitude and opposite with the load neutral current. Now, if you see the first configuration, so performance of this two-stage single-phase charging station with buck boost converter controlled EVs. So here we have a PV array, and we have this this boost converter. So here boost converter have only 1 degree of freedom, so it can do the either it can do the MPPT or we can boost the voltage. But here the function of boost converter is to do the MPPT. So here we are not going to boost the voltage. The DC link voltage and PV array voltage we are keeping the same. Remember, to reduce the losses in this particular converter, boost converter, we are keeping this open circuit voltage of PV array equal to the DC link voltage. So how we can minimize the losses? Because at that particular moment, if both the voltages are equal, this duty ratio, and when we are operating at maximum power point, this PV array voltage from will shift from VOC to VMPP. Okay, so there will be little bit decrement in the voltage, and the duty ratio will not be more than 0.2. Okay, means we are not going to boost the voltage more than 20%. So there will be there will not be there will be minimum stress across this particular switch, and switching losses will be minimized at that particular case. So here that's why that is the reason why we are keeping this VPV as well as VDC equal. After that, we are integrating this EV battery or charging station battery bank, we can say, via bidirectional converter. So this is the combination. We can say this is the our charger. By this charger, we can charge our electric vehicle, SYRM, or means other kind of machines based this electric vehicle. And then after that, if you want to integrate this EV battery with the utility grid, because in night time is SPV array is not available, then how we can charge this battery? So it is very important to integrate this charger with some other source. Okay, so here if we are this utility grid is available, so we can integrate this utility grid via this two-leg VSC voltage source converter with this EV battery. So bidirectional power flow is possible. So EV battery to the grid, if or EV battery to the load, it's possible, or if you are having this SOC less than the required, means 20% SOC, then we can supply power from utility grid to the EV battery. Okay, so this is the concept how we can integrate this EV battery along with the utility grid. Now, the control of VSC, how we can control this voltage source converter. So how we can control? In case of grid connected mode, we can control this VSC in current control mode. We have well established grid, so frequency is almost constant, and we can operate this voltage source converter in current control mode, and we can maintain the as we can also address the power quality issues this voltage source converter, okay, in current control mode. However, when grid outage is there, so at that particular moment, if PV array is not there and grid is not there, so what will happen if SOC of the battery is maintained and we are here in place of or at the point of common coupling, we have connected some emergency load. Emergency load means data centers or some hospitals. So these kind of emergency load, they require continuous power. Okay, and if you don't have any kind of here EV charging requirement, then what we can do, you can discharge the battery and you can feed the power to the local loads or to the emergency load. So this is the very basic requirement of this particular system. When these sources are not available, then EV battery can be discharged to feed the power to the emergency load by controlling this voltage source converter in voltage control mode. Means we are having this voltage source converter, and we can charge this, we can supply the power to the local loads. But what are the conditions, or what is the basic requirement? At the output of the converter, we have to maintain 50 Hz supply, because emergency loads, non-linear loads or data center, they require 50 Hz supply. So in a standalone mode, or we can say an islanded mode, when we are operating this converter in a voltage control mode, we have to maintain the frequency reference. Okay, so we need to maintain this particular frequency of this wave, which is equal to the 50 Hz, as well as we have to also maintain the magnitude of the voltage, because non-linear load, or if you are connecting single phase load, then they cannot bear the voltage more than 230 or 240 higher or 250. Okay, so we have to also maintain the magnitude of this load voltage. Okay, so this is the very basic requirement of voltage control. When that's why I said that this utility we have well established grid when this system is operating in grid integrated mode, or when we are integrating this EV battery with the utility grid, because at that particular moment we need not to maintain the frequency. Okay, so because we have well established 50 Hz frequency here, so when we are going to sense the currents, automatically reference current will follow the this sensed current. Okay, these sensed current will follow the reference current, so these currents will be sinusoidal. Now after that, we are also using this RC filter to mitigate the switching harmonics in the PCC voltages. PCC voltage, if you are having any kind of switching harmonics, so we are also using this RC filter for this particular purpose. For design of this charging station, so we have to design this boost inductor toward the PV array side. So we are using 10 kHz switching frequency. So basically, for making this charging station, we are using a various power electronic devices. Along with these power electronic devices are switching at highest switching frequency, like 10 kHz or 20 kHz. So we are here, we are switching boost converter at 10 kHz frequency, and we are calculating the value around 4.4 millihenry. However, the selected value is around 5 millihenry. Then buck boost inductor toward the battery, EV battery side. So here we have charge controller here, buck boost kind of charge controller or discharge controller. So we have to design this inductor also. Okay, so we have designed inductor by selecting a 10 kHz again switching frequency The design value is around, or calculated value is around 4.8 millihenry, and selected value is around 5 millihenry. Then we have DC link capacitor. So DC link capacitor is selected around 2500 microfarad. So this is nothing but energy balance equation to calculate this DC link capacitor. Then we have filter inductor. Filter inductor means the output inductor of this particular converter. And then we have DC link voltage, which is selected around 400 volt, then discharging element of this particular battery. So you can see the discharging element are quite large, because we need to sustain the coulomb of the battery for longer period. So the value of these capacitor and resistance are very high. Now control of VSC. So we require to control this particular voltage source converter to integrate EV battery with the utility grid. So we are also having nonlinear load connected at the point of common coupling, and we are also addressing the power quality in this charging station. So same converter will work as a power quality conditioner. It will supply the reactive power demand or harmonic demand required by the nonlinear load. So how we will control? Here we can see we are sensing the load current, and we are sensing the we are deriving the unit template with the help of grid voltage. We have grid voltage, and by in phase in quadrature voltage, we can derive this in phase unit template, and we are using this circular normalized adaptive current filter to filter out the harmonics, and the feed output of this equation is continuously given to the input to this block, so that the difference between load current and means the error between load current and fundamental is continuously monitored or minimized. And other side we have PV array. So with the help of PV array parameters and grid voltage, we can derive the PV feed forward term. And other side we want to also control the charging this battery bank, because we are also integrating this battery with the utility grid. So here we have derived this the battery contribution. So this is the loop and which decide the charging and discharging of the battery. So this is very important, how you are going to integrate this battery contribution in case of current control mode. So here Y battery will decide that we are going to charge the battery or we are going to discharge the battery at per battery parameters. We have V battery and I battery. We have sensed these parameters, and we will decide that SOC of the battery is less than the required, or it is means SOC of the battery is maintained or not. And then we will derive the net active component, and this net active component is multiplied with the unit templates, and with the help of this unit template and net active grid component, we'll derive the reference grid current. This reference grid current is further compared with the sensed current. And after comparing, we are deriving the error which is given to the hysteresis controller to control this voltage source converter, this two-leg voltage source converter. So we are deriving 4 pulses to control the VSC for integrating the EV battery with the utility grid. And so the condition of this control, like we are operating in grid connected mode or we are operating in islanded mode, will be decided by the STS. Here I forget to mention that we have STS signal here, 1 or 0. Okay, so the condition where grid is not there or grid is there in this charging station, it will be decided by the synchronization controller. And the output of synchronization controller will control these STS. So here you can see we have 2 switches back-to-back IGBT, which are means connected here between utility grid and PCC, point of common coupling. So when the power flow from the utility grid to the VSC, like we need some charging, we need to charge this battery bank. So the power flow will be from utility grid to the PCC. So at that particular moment, the first switch toward the utility grid side will be on, and the body diode of second switch will be on. So the power flow will be from first switch, it is on. So first switch is on. Now we are going, diode is conducting in forward bias. Diode is forward bias, so there will be a path from utility grid to the PCC. So in this way, we can supply energy to the battery. However, when we have excess power from the PV array, if we are having excess power from the PV array, SOC of the battery at the charging station is maintained. Now load power is also constant, and then we have generated excess power. So power flow will be from, so surplus energy we have to inject to the utility grid. So at that particular moment, what will happen? We have to, means power flow will be from PCC, here where VL is mentioned, so it is a PCC, from PCC to the utility grid. So what will happen? The switch which is near to the PCC is switched on here, and the body diode of other switch which is close to the utility grid is switched on. So the power flow from the point of common coupling to the utility grid. Okay, so that is very important, how you are going to approach this particular and how we are going to connect. So everything physically we have, means in laboratory, we have developed the prototype of this charging station. Okay, and we have verified and we have connected physically these switches. All the components of this particular diagram we have connected physically and we have verified. Okay, that in this moment we are going to charge the battery, and in this mode we are discharging, and in this mode we are operating this battery in floating mode. Like we have considered that battery SOC is maintained to 80%. Okay, we need not to charge the battery, then battery will operate in floating mode. Okay, so these are the issues which we have considered in this charging station. So second part of this control is islanded control. So here we have to generate the load voltage reference, and this load voltage reference is reference load voltage is compared with the sensed load voltage. The error is given to the PI controller to regulate this particular load voltage. Okay, and the output of this PI controller is considered as a IVSC current reference. So reference VSC current is further compared to the sensed VSC current, and the error is generated. This error again given to the hysteresis controller to generate the switching pulses in islanded mode when grid is not there. So at that particular moment, this control, this islanded mode control will be activated and charging station operate in voltage control. And the condition of switching of these control will be decided by STS signal. If these STS are getting 1, current control will be activated, means grid is there. If grid is not there, STS will get 0 signal. So this charging station will operate in voltage control mode. And in this particular point, if renewable energy is not there, we have to supply power to the local load using our EV battery or battery bank, which is located at charging station. So these are the some mathematical expressions, like how we have estimated phase peak voltage, then unit time vectors, net active component of load current, then PV feed forward loop. Then we are having this net active component, reference grid current, then error, which is generated to, which is generated for hysteresis controller to give the switching sequences for voltage source control. Now, very important, cascaded PI controller for EV battery control. So here, how we can control this particular EV battery. So here we are using a cascaded PI controller for EV battery, because here we have to maintain the DC link voltage to reference value. Okay, because voltage source converter now it is injecting power to the utility grid. Okay, so here the control is shifted toward the battery side. Okay, we have bidirectional converter control, and the DC link control is shifted to the because the condition of this this battery, this DC link voltage will decide the charging and discharging of the battery. Okay, suppose if the this sensed VDC is higher than the VDC reference. Okay, so what would be the condition when VDC is higher than the VDC reference? Suppose there is grid outage in the charging station, and renewable energy is there. Load require less power as compared to generated power from the PV array. So the power to the DC link will be increased. Okay. So once the power is increased, the voltage will also rise of the DC link. DC link voltage will also rise. So what will happen? This voltage may go beyond the reference value. Once this VDC is beyond the reference value, the output of this subtractor block will be, the value will be negative. So I battery reference is negative. Okay. The I battery reference is negative means we are charging the battery. Okay. As we have considered, if the battery current is negative, which means we are going to charge the battery. Okay. If battery current is positive, which means we are discharging the battery. Okay. So what would be the condition when we have to discharge the battery or battery bank? So if this the sensed value is less than the reference value. Suppose for 230 volt grid, we have fixed the DC link voltage 400 volt, and this VDC is going less than the VDC reference, like 395 or 390 volt. So what will happen? The output of this block will be positive, and this IB reference will be positive. And once the IB reference is positive, means we have to support the DC bus of this voltage source converter. And once means we have to support, or we have to bring this VDC, VDC voltage equal to the VDC reference. So at that particular moment, this particular converter will operate in boost mode, and power, it will supply power from the battery to the DC link so that the battery will be discharged. So this is the concept how we can use this particular battery along with charger. And what are the condition, at what particular condition we can charge and discharge the battery. For EV application, this loop, so another matter, we can shift this loop to the voltage source converter, and here we can apply constant. If in EV application, most of the battery or most of the in charging station, they are considered as a, battery is considered as a load. So they require constant charging. Okay, so in that particular moment, you can fix the battery reference. Okay, at that particular current, we have to charge the battery. If battery rating is suppose 20 ampere hour, and we want to charge the battery at 20 ampere hour, so the value of IB reference would be 20. Here you can fix the 20, and you can compare this with the battery reference, and then you can proceed with this control. So what is your requirement? How you are going to proceed, that is very important. You need to maintain this DC bus using this bidirectional converter, or you need to control this VDC or VDC reference using voltage source converter. It is your it will be shifted as per the requirement. So this converter, so this control is going to control the bidirectional converter. So accordingly, this converter will operate in boost mode and buck mode when we require to discharge the battery, or when we require to charge the battery. Now, very important, mode shifting controller. Okay, how we can shift the mode of voltage source converter when charging station, when in charging station grid is not there or grid is there. So at that particular moment, we have to measure the voltage frequency in phase of the utility grid. And we will derive that what are the parameters and what are the limit. So there is one limit or one standard, IEEE 1547 standard is there. They have limited that if the grid voltage is between 0.88 to 1.1 per unit, or frequency reference or frequency is not varying beyond 0.5 or 0.2 hertz, and this difference in grid theta and load theta is not more than 3 degree. Okay, grid voltage angle and load voltage angle theta, the difference between these two is not more than 3 degree, then we can operate this particular system in grid connected mode. Means we are satisfying these conditions. Your grid voltage is between 0.88 to 1.1 per unit. Your frequency is not varying beyond 0.5 hertz, and theta is not varying more than 3 degree. Okay, so we can connect the system or voltage source converter or charging station with the utility grid. If these conditions are not satisfying, Means if this Vg go beyond 1.1 or 0.88, this frequency variation is more than 0.5 hertz, and this theta is more than, the difference in theta is more than 3 degree, then we can disconnect this charging station with the utility. So this is the condition, like if there is any kind of fault occurring at the utility side, then we can save, or we need not to want that higher current must should not flip beyond these switches, so that we cannot we should not blow these switches. So at that particular moment, we can isolate the grid from the rest of the charging station. Okay, and if these all conditions are satisfied, then STS will these switches will get one signal, and if these conditions are not satisfying, then these signal will get 0. Okay, so that they can isolate the grid from the charging station. Now, flow chart for energy management in the smart charging station. So in this particular energy management scheme, we are continuously monitoring this grid parameters. So if grid is not there, PG, grid power will be 0. If grid power is 0, STS will get 0 signal. They will isolate the grid from the rest of the system. And the charging station will be shifted to islanded mode. Now, the regulation of AC voltage will be by islanded control, and DC bus voltage is regulated by buck boost control. Now, if the generated power from the PV array is more than the load demand and the SOC of the battery, okay. So what will, if yes, the PV array power is greater than these requirement, then we have to check the SOC of the battery, okay. Because anytime we can get the vehicle and we have to charge the vehicle. We cannot deny that we don't have this kind of the SOC of the battery is lesser than the 20%, then we cannot charge the battery. The battery which is located at the charging station, it will be fully charged. Our priority is that, okay. So we will again check if PV array power is greater than the P load and SOC of the battery, then we will check the SOC. If battery SOC is greater than SOC max, then we will operate in off MPP mode. Because in standalone mode, the load power is fixed, suppose. And 5 kilowatt power is coming from the PV array, and load require only 2 kilowatt. So 3 kilowatt power, we have to inject the battery. And if SOC of the battery is maintained, we cannot inject this much of power because battery rating is also less. Okay. So what will happen? We have to operate this PV array in off MPP mode. Now, if the SOC of the battery is not maintained, it is not greater than SOC max. So we have to, so we can utilize this excess power to charge our EV battery or the battery which is located at the charging station. If no, then we have to check this SOC is not means greater than the SOC minimum, then we need to do the load shedding because we cannot discharge or below the DOD, depth of discharge, we have to maintain the battery. Okay, so we need to do the load shedding. And if this is not the condition, then we can feed the load till SOC minimum of the battery. Now, if we see the other side, in if this PG is not 0, here grid power is not 0, then we will operate in grid interactive mode. Means we are satisfying the IEEE 1547, and means we can connect rest of the charging station with the, we can integrate our charging station with the utility grid. So we can share the power among the EV, battery, load, and utility. So again, we have to check that renewable energy power, generated power from the PV array is greater than load demand and the percentage SOC. If yes, then we can again charge this, we have to check the SOC. And if the SOC is maintained, we can feed surplus power to the utility. Means in grid interactive mode, we have to check the SOC, we have to check the load demand. And if after fulfilling these demands, if the excess power is required, then we can inject surplus energy to the utility grid. Or we can say we can sell the power to the users, or grid, we can say supplier, sorry, not users. Okay, so at that particular moment, we can earn the money if we have surplus energy. If the SOC of the battery is not maintained, then our basic requirement to charge this battery, which is located at the charging station. And the SOC is, if SOC means yes, peak power saving or charge the EV. Okay, and no, if SOC is not greater than the SOC minimum, feed the load from the utility. So these are the few management scheme, energy management scheme, how we can operate this particular system in our means how we can operate this SOC and how we can assume that power is greater than this generated power is greater than our load demand in SOC. So this is the energy management. Then we are moving toward the simulation results. So here we are having simulation performance of charging station under certain outage and recovery of utility grid. Okay, so at the left side we have one figure. So this figure presents that here at the 0.4 second there is grid outage. Okay, so in first plot of first figure we can see there is theta voltage, load voltage theta, grid voltage theta. After 0.4 second, when grid outage is there, means grid is not there, the difference between these two theta are more than 3 degrees. So grid is disconnected. You can see here, earlier it is well synchronized, but difference is increased. Okay, difference is increased. Now in second plot, we can see that the load voltage is maintained sinusoidal. However, grid voltage is not there. Okay, as we assume that at 0.4 second, grid disappears. And in third plot, we can see that the grid current outage is there. So net power supplied or injected to the utility grid is 0. The grid current maintained sinusoidal, however, load current is square in shape as we are using a single phase system. DC link is maintained. Here you can see earlier in grid connected mode, the battery was discharging, and as the excess power from the renewable energy operating is available, so at that particular moment, after 0.4 second, I battery is charging. Here you can see the battery current is going to negative after 0.4 second. Okay, 0.4 second. However, PV array parameters are maintained. No change is observed toward the PV array parameter. Similarly, in second figure, when grid appears, so at that particular moment, both the grid voltage and grid current are in opposite phase, which means power is injected to the utility grid. And battery again reaches from charging to floating mode or discharging mode, we can say. Okay, after 0.2 second, the battery condition is changed. Suppose we have considered that as the grid appears at that particular moment, we don't require the battery SOC is maintained, and we need not require any kind of power to the battery. So the battery is operating in floating mode. However, again, PV array parameters are maintained to its actual value. These are the harmonic analysis. As I told, same voltage source converter is also working as a power quality conditioner. So here a nonlinear load is connected at the point of common coupling, which is having a square shape, and harmonic content of this load current is around 31.63%. However, the power which is injected, the current which is injected to the utility grid is sinusoidal, and it is having PSD of 4.16%. So it is meeting within IEEE 519 standard. Okay, the IEEE 519 standard says that the PSD of grid current must be less than 5%. Now response at a steady state and outage of PV array. So in right side figure, we can see that at 0.3 second, there is outage of PV array. There is no PV source or there is no any kind of renewable energy source in the picture. So what will happen if renewable energy is not there and a vehicle is there at the charging station? So we cannot discharge the battery, but emergency load is connected at your charging station. So what will happen, or we can say in this particular configuration, we have some emergency kind of load. So load automatically will be shifted to the grid. However, we have EV battery, and this battery we cannot utilize. We have keep this condition that EV battery we cannot utilize. Okay, so at that particular moment, this load, however, emergency load is connected at the point of common coupling. So this they are drawing constant power. So we will shift this load to the utility grid. So here in second figure, you can see that after 0.3 second, the phase current this grid current become in phase with the grid voltage. Okay, so the grid current and grid voltage after 0.3 second are in phase. However, before 0.3 second, we were having excess power. So both the grid current as well as grid voltage are in opposite phase. Okay. However, we have not disturbed the power across the load. And PV array parameters, this PV voltage and this battery voltage is also maintained, because we are not drawing any power from the I battery at this moment for the purpose of to fulfill the load demand or to support the peak to supply the power to the local loads. Now experimental results. So we have utilized prototype, and we have this DSpace 1103 we have used to control this particular charging station, and then we are using a EV battery with 21 ampere hour capacity. And for connection and disconnection, we are using a MCB at the grid, between grid and this PCC, and we are also utilizing these power electronic switches in between the grid and this PCC. And semicron based converter we are using for this particular purpose. So this is the basic structure of our hardware prototype which we have developed for grid interactive charging stations. So here we have PV array emulator, and here we have EV battery. So a huge battery bank is there. Okay, and then we are having this nonlinear load or emergency kind of load. Then we have, and same static transfer switches for connection and disconnection of utility grid. We are utilizing this semicron based converter. So semicron based switches are used to control or to connect the disconnect from the utility grid. So MPPT performance, here we are operating this PV array or renewable energy at near about 100% MPPT. I mean, it is more than 99%. Now, hardware results. So synchronization of PV based charging station at recovery of utility grid. So as the grid is appeared, so load voltage and means grid voltage both are well synchronized in second figure. Battery voltage is maintained. Here earlier till this particular point, battery current is negative, which means we are supplying power to the this charging station. After grid recovery, SOC of the battery is maintained. The power is means battery operating in floating mode. Now, at the outage of utility grid or desynchronization of charging station from the utility grid, so at that particular moment, load power is fixed. There is no disturbance toward the load side, but grid voltage and grid current are disappear. Okay, at that particular moment, and you can see here the battery condition is changed from floating to charging mode as the grid outage is there. Now steady state operation. So we are having this particular response, steady state response in grid interactive mode. So grid in first figure, grid voltage, grid current, and the net power injected to the utility grid as figure B. So negative sign shows that power is being injected to the grid or power is fed to the grid. So around 2.34 kilowatt power is fed to the grid. The TSD of grid current is maintained around 5%. The power carried by the VSC is around 3 kilowatt in figure E. The load power carried by the VSC is around 600 watt. And these are the some intermediate signal of control algorithm under connection and disconnection of load. Okay, so these are the unit templates and then error which have been estimated and then various signal. So we have to check that control is fast enough or not, because under connection and disconnection of this load, what will happen? There is change in the DC link voltage, overshoot and undershoot voltage will be there. So what will happen? This will be reflected, or if this overshoot is beyond its actual value, or means switch rating, then the switch may blow. So at that particular moment, you have to take care that your control is fast enough or not. And the dynamic performance at outage of both the sources, like PV array is not there, and then grid is also not there. So vehicle to home mode we have to operate. So at that particular moment, if PV array is not there, the grid current, the position of, or we can say there is a reversal in the grid current. Earlier we are supplying power to the grid, now we are operating, or now we are drawing current from the utility grid. Okay, and the PV current is 0 after this particular moment. And after PV current reaching to 0, grid is also disappear. So what will happen? EV will, and we have assumed that there is no any kind of EV at the charging station, and we have fully charged battery available at the charging station. So this EV will support the vehicle to home mode, or this charging station will operate in vehicle to home mode. So here you can see now it is the power from the battery, discharging power from the battery is increased, as load after this particular point, load is also drawing power from the battery. Okay, so dynamic performance at recovery of PV array, as the power is recovered or renewable energy recovered, so grid current is also increased as the excess power is injected to the utility grid. However, we have not hampered the load demand. Load demand, we are feeding constant power to the load. Now, discharging of EV to support the utility grid. So in peak power demand, when there is requirement of to support the grid, when the peak load demand is there, so the load power is constant here. In first figure you can see, and EV battery is discharged. Earlier till this particular point, the EV battery is charged. Now we are going to discharge the EV so that we can, the power fed to the grid is increased. Okay, now after this particular point, the charging of the battery, now after this particular point we need not to support the grid, so the power which is being fed to the charging station is increased, or to the battery bank is increased. Here EV is discharging, so as the load power is constant and we are in supplying power from the charging station to the grid, so grid current will be increased. Okay, here we are increasing the grid current. So this is the concept behind single phase PV battery based charging station. Okay, we have I think 20 minutes left. So what we will do, I'm not going to describe this 3-phase battery based charging station. I'm going to show one simulation based on this single phase charging station, so that you people can realize that how we can simulate this particular system. Okay, so I'm going to stop the presentation and I'm going to show the simulation part of this particular lecture. Okay, so single phase charging station, I'll show you that how we can model this particular charging station in MATLAB platform. So any question if you are having, then you can discuss now. And now I'm going to share one simulation, means one simulation model. So any question from the participants on this grid interactive charging station or this lecture? I hope this screen is visible to you. This MATLAB model is visible to you.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for the confirmation. So here we are having this. If we go from the left side, so here a 3-phase source we have selected, but only 2 phases are connected. So we have considered a single phase programmable source here, and then we are having this grid impedance, then RC filter, similar topology what I have discussed in presentation, similar topology I am going to simulate here. Okay, so we are having this RC filter, and then we have STS. So here we are considering the STS, static transfer switches, which is connected in between utility grid and PCC. And PCC, we are having this single phase VSC. We are having this load universal bridge. So we have, for non-linear load or emergency load, we can say we have considered a Darby rectifier followed by RL. Okay, and at the same point, we are also connecting this single phase VSC via interphasing inductor. Okay, and at the DC bus of this single phase VSC, we are having a battery bank which is utilized at the charging station, and which is controlled through this DC-DC bidirectional buck boost converter. Okay, so this is the basic power circuit. Okay, if you are considering 230 volt grid, so we have to maintain this DC link 400 around, and accordingly we have selected a 240 volt battery here, and this 240 volt battery is integrated via bidirectional converter. Okay, we can see this bidirectional converter. So same control what I have discussed in this PPT, like cascaded PI controller we are using. So we are sensing this VDC, we are putting some reference VDC 400, we are comparing this given to the PI controller, and it is compared with the sensed battery current. So this the output of this we are considering as a battery current, and this battery current, battery reference current, is compared with the sensed battery current to generate the duty cycle for this bidirectional converter. Okay, and if we see the control side, if we are moving control side, so this single phase VSC or charging station is controlled in grid interactive as well as in voltage control mode. So if we see the LQ based controller, so here a load component is derived, and a PV feed forward component is also derived, and we are having this battery component which is also derived, and then we are having this we have generated this reference current. Okay, and this reference current is further compared with the sensed current. This reference current is compared with the sensed current and given to the stress controller to generate the switching pulses for this voltage source converter. And in islanded mode, we have also we have fixed the magnitude of voltage, and we are generating this phase 325 Vm sin omega t. So VTM is nothing but 325, because 230 volt we have to maintain. 230 into root 2, that will be 325 sin omega t. So this much of voltage we have to maintain, and this sensed voltage is compared to the again load voltage. This load voltage, and again given to the PI controller to maintain the VSC current, and this VSC current is compared with the further sensed current to generate the switching pulses in islanded mode. Now I'm going to run this simulation, and I'll show you the result, that how we are connecting and disconnecting. And a very important, seamless controller. So here we are sensing some theta, W, and these are the frequency in terms of we have taken the theta, and then we also monitor this VTM, magnitude of voltage, and all these parameter, frequency, theta as well as magnitude, are supplied to AND gate logic operator here and given to the PES, power electronic switches. These power electronic switches are nothing but these are the STS, static transfer switches. So here we have applied the PES. You can see here, power electronic switches. So the output of this seamless transition controller is coming to the PES, okay, or STS. Now I'm going to run this simulation, and I'll share the this particular scope. Okay. So any doubt if you are having, you can ask or discuss with me. Yeah. Now lecture is open, or this session is open for question and answer. If you are having any kind of doubt, you can discuss.
शैलेंद्र, ये स्कोप विजिबल नहीं है, स्कोप ओपन किया है क्या?
स्कोप मैं ओपन कर रहा हूँ सर, अभी रन किया सिमुलेशन.
ओके.
It is now 13%. So any kind of doubt or any clarification, if you want, then you can discuss or you can ask.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, we are just looking its image. Practically, it is now working anywhere?
Which one?
Sir, the charging point?
Yeah, means we are when I was in when I was doing my postdoc, so at Khalifa University, so this kind of charging station they were having. They were having one pillar, and they have installed. They are not charging at very big scale. But this Khalifa University as well, they were having 3 to 4 vehicles and they were charging using this charging station. And they have integrated this charging station with the renewable energy. I'm not quite sure that they were integrating with the utility grid, but they were charging this, they were powering this charging station with the solar PV. So, yeah,
actually, individual charging system is everywhere. That means e-rickshaw and so many electronics vehicle is running today in our local cities.
Yes.
But they have no special such types of the petrol pump.
Yes. That is in developing stage. In India, that is in developing stage.
So that means I would like to know exactly what will the time of the expansion during a timing of the battery for the electric e-battery.
Yeah, sure. But nowadays people are working on smart charging station as well as fast charging. Okay, yeah. Means they are also working on impulse charging. Means in 1 minute they are able to charge the. Means they are injecting the power 10 times more than the battery rating. So, but you have to maintain the battery SOC as well as you have to take care that what kind of battery you are using. Okay, people are also using these what we can say some kind of capacitor, smart capacitor, or for impulse charging. So they are looking for alternative of these battery banks. But still means impulse charging it in, means they are means in North America or somewhere that people are using. But in India, we don't have this kind of impulse charging or means very fast charging. So it is in developing stage, and still it is taking 7 to 8 hours to full charge our e-rickshaw or our electric vehicles.
So that means we have to wait for the new generation of the battery, because sir, those battery are available in market.
Yeah,
we cannot charge them.
Yeah, chemical people are looking for these super capacitor
discharging time. So
yeah, definitely. But these chemical people are looking that they can construct some kind of battery which can take this impulsive charging. Okay, so if yes, we are able to make this kind of battery, then we can inject impulse, and in 1 minute we are having our vehicle fully charged. But
thank you, sir.
It is still in developing stage.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other question? Yeah. So I'm going to share this scope.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Sir, how are you finding state of charge in different cases?
Sorry.
Sir, how we are finding state of charge the battery?
So yeah, so there are various methods, CCCV and CC charging, and we are having one instrument right now. I don't remember, but we are having some kind of device which can directly give the SOC of the battery. But here in our work, we are measuring this according the battery current and battery voltage. means we cannot get exact SOC measurement because always error is there, and if you are not operating battery for 24 hours or maybe 7 to 8 days, then the SOC of the battery or the voltage may get down. Okay, the coulombs of that particular battery will not maintain constant. But if you want to accurate SOC measurement is not right now what I wanted to say. I have not able to measure the actual SOC, but we have assumed that according to battery current and battery voltage, we have assumed that if the battery is within this range, then the SOC of, yes. Sorry. So we have estimated this battery according to the battery parameters, basically. Okay, according to battery voltage, people are using various control technique like Kalman filter. They are using for estimating the battery SOC. But here, our work was not toward the measurement of battery SOC or chemical analysis of the battery SOC. We were looking at how we can utilize the maximum power using this battery in the charging and discharge, how we can charge and discharge this particular battery bank. So simply we have taken a battery parameters, V battery and I battery, and then we have estimated the SOC of the battery.
Your scope is still not visible, Shailendra.
Yes, sir. I'm going to share it. Yes. Any other question?
Sir, can we have a hybrid electric vehicles instead of only solar? Only solar
sure,
PV is not beneficial for
Yeah.
us. We can introduce
Yes,
hybrid
yes,
electric
yes.
vehicles.
Yeah, people are running a hybrid electric vehicle. Means they are having this electric vehicle as well as they are having this IC engine along with this electric vehicle. It is in picture. Let me share the screen. Yeah, scope is visible.
Yes, sir.
Can someone confirm this?
Yes.
So here, the basic operation I'm going to show you for this charging station that at 0.2 second, here, if you are able to see that at 0.2 second, we don't have any kind of grid, okay? But we are feeding constant power to the load here. So, and the power from the PV array in last graph is constant. Okay, so we are not disturbing, so we are having generation, okay, and it is shared between the, so I'll show you the battery performance. Here we are feeding power to the load as well as to the battery as grid is not there. Okay, so at that particular moment, load power is constant, and after 0.2 second, as grid appears, so immediately within a cycle, here we can see that grid current is also appears. So synchronization and desynchronization from the charging station to the grid is very minimal. Okay, it is not taking. People are saying that means to synchronize the voltage source converter with the utility grid it is taking more than 6 to 7 cycles. Here we are synchronizing this charging station with the utility grid, so we can in 2 to 3 cycle we can get the power. Okay, to power our electric vehicle or the charging station. So this time is very minimum, and after this particular connection and during this connection and disconnection, the load voltage is maintained. In means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plot you can see. In 7th plot, the load voltage is maintained. Okay, even at outage of utility grid or when grid is not there, the load voltage of charging station is not disturbed. Okay. So this was the function which I wanted to show you, that how we are going to maintain this load voltage or how we are going to integrate. Now I'm going to show you another scope for the battery performance. So let me share the another scope which is having battery conditions. So this is the battery conditions. So if we here you can see that when grid was not there, the SOC of the battery, or we can say here in second figure you can see when the grid was not there, so excess power from the renewable energy is used to charge the battery. However, as grid appears, so we have assumed that battery SOC is constant or it is maintained to 80%. So the battery reaches to floating mode. We need not to charge and discharge the battery, and battery voltage is maintained. It is not much decrease when we are going to discharge or we are going to operate this battery in floating mode. So this kind of feature I wanted to show you. Okay, further, if any question, if any other question.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, Asif. Go ahead.
Sir, actually, I am working with the PV STATCOM as well as the EV battery charging.
Yes.
And whatever the PV utilized for STATCOM, that same PV I am going to utilize for EV battery charging.
Yes. Yes.
So, can you suggest control strategy for the same?
Yes. So when you are operating your system as a PVD STATCOM, so at that particular moment you have to maintain your, so in every system, if you are operating grid interactive charging station, or you are operating grid interactive PV system, or you are operating a means you have multiple sources and you are going to inject the power to the utility grid. To maintain the DC link voltage is very important. How you are going to maintain the DC link voltage. Otherwise, what will happen? You may blow the switch. Okay, because undershoot and overshoot and undershoot, or we can say the blocking voltage of these switches will be defined by this particular DC link voltage. So you have to maintain the DC link voltage, and in PVD STATCOM mode, you have to shift your control to the VSC. Okay, so DC link will be maintained by the voltage source converter. However, in case of charging station, if you are having any kind of battery, you can shift, because if the excess power is available at the DC bus, so what will happen? You have to accordingly decide the battery condition. Okay, you need to charge the battery or you need to discharge the battery. If excess power is available, you can you can utilize this power to charge the battery. If you need to support the DC link, somehow you have switched on, load demand is more and renewable energy is less. So at that particular moment, you can discharge the battery so that you can maintain the DC link voltage. So DC link control will be shifted to the EV battery. So this is my perspective, that you have to shift this DC link control to if you are having any kind of EV battery in the system. So bidirectional converter will maintain the DC bus voltage. So you have to take care of these 2 points.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So I hope there is no further questions. And if there is any question, the participants can send a mail to us and we'll try to answer those questions. So thank you very much, Dr. Shailendra.
Thank
On
you,
behalf
sir.
of FDP team, and
Thank
we are
you.
thankful that you have spared your time. And maybe we'll get some questions if in future, then I'll direct to you.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to deliver this talk. Yeah.
Okay. Now we have with us Professor Manisha Dubey. The next lecture is scheduled on artificial intelligence applications. And Professor Manisha Dubey is with us, and she's Dean of Manage Bhopal, and previously She was head of the department also. She is having exposure to around 24 years of experience in this area. So she is another coordinator also, and we are working together. So I have this opportunity to invite Madam for your talk.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev. Thank you. So very good evening to all. Today's the topic is the AI applications in EV, right? Electric vehicle system. Thank you so much. Sandeep, is my screen is visible? Hello?
मैम अभी तक तो नहीं आया है.
नहीं आया? Okay, let me check.
On the right side there is present now.
Yeah, I have done that. Okay.
And select a window, not the screen.
Okay, fine. Is it coming now?
No, ma'am, not yet.
No. I'm doing by that only.
Ma'am, just open your presentation or slides first and then go to present now and then a window. So I think that will be visible that time.
But we are doing like this only. Okay, let me check.
मैम प्रेजेंटेशन काफी देर से ओपन थी क्या?
हाँ, yes.
तो आप एक बार बंद करके दोबारा से ओपन करके
Okay, fine.
और फिर प्रेजेंट नाउ कर लीजिए.
Is it coming now?
No, ma'am.
No.
नहीं अभी तो नहीं आया अभी.
Maybe the net is slow here. Let me give me 1 or 2 minutes, Sanjeev, right? I'm fixing
okay,
it.
ma'am. Yeah, okay. एक बार मैम आप अपना वीडियो बंद कर दीजिए, फिर भी हो सकता है कि थोड़ा सा बैकपिट सुन जाए.
Okay. Sanjeev, is it coming now? Hello?
No, ma'am.
अभी नहीं आया. आपकी स्क्रीन पे भी एकदम से आएगा यू आर नाउ प्रेजेंटिंग ऐसा करके आना.
हाँ, नहीं आ नहीं रहा वो मैसेज.
जी.
That is not coming.
मैडम एक बार इसको लॉग आउट करिए ना, इसको मीट को दोबारा से लॉग इन करिए.
अच्छा, पूरा बाहर चली जाऊं? लीव कर दूं?
जी मैम.
Okay.